Tackling the term is my job, and I'm gonna break them for you. Hey guys, it's Term Breakers, and I heartily welcome you to this newest venture of Team Breakers. Hey guys, this is a Gamers Thursday, so here we are with another video regarding video game genres. Most of us play games, right? But have you ever thought which category they fell into? No, because we don't even know which categories are there. So in this video, I'm gonna explain about few video game categories that are present in the market. Most games fell into a category. Some bridge different gaming styles and thus could appear under more than one category simultaneously, and others pioneer new approaches to electronic entertainment. Those often fall outside of any preconceived genre. If such a title becomes popular enough that other tries to duplicate the experience, a new genre comes into being. Here is a list of few most common video game genres with a brief description and some examples of the games. The list is not comprehensive and is limited to larger classifications. It is easy to classify particular titles much more narrowly and thus create dozens of genres and subgenres. However, this is an attempt to give a broader perspective of types of video games. First of all, shooter. One of the oldest genres of video game is the classic shooter. It has roots in the early 60s with Steve Russell's Space War. Shooters are the games that require the player to blow away enemies or objects in order to survive and continue gameplay. They usually fall into one of the two categories: first, horizontal; second, vertical. However, like Space War, Star Castle, and Asteroid, there are shooters that are neither horizontal or vertical. These involve moving around the screen and shooting in whatever direction necessary to keep from being destroyed. Other classical examples include Defender, Galaga, Phoenix, Space Invaders, Xevious, and Zaxxon. First-person shooter or FPS. This is an example of subgenre that has grown enough to become its own genre. In fact, because of the prevalence of these games, many people use the term shooter to refer to first-person shooters. These games are real-time, fast-paced action games in which player navigates an environment from a first-person perspective and usually blows away everything and everyone away whenever possible. Though Wolfenstein 3D is regarded as the first successful example of this genre, it was until the release of the legendary Doom that people began to recognize the true potential of this type of gaming. Though this is a relatively new genre since the early 1990s, it has grown in popularity. Examples of first-person shooter franchise include Wolfenstein, Doom, Halo, Quake, and Time Splitters. Adventure. Another of the first video game genres, especially from the computer platform, was adventure games. They were initially text-like games. However, as the power of gaming systems grew, developers tried to tap into the visual capabilities. There are always a strong following of this genre because of the challenge of puzzle solving and general lack of violence. This has also made it popular for many non-traditional gaming demographics. In recent years, LucasArts and Cyan have been known for their contribution to the adventure genre. Other examples of franchise include Gabriel Knight, Indiana Jones, Monkey Island, Police Quest, and Siberia. Next is platform. It is believed that a platform genre began in 1981 with the release of games Donkey Kong and Space Panic. Games within this genres are usually identifying by navigating environments that require timing and jumping in order to reach a destination while avoiding or disposing of enemies. Many of these, like Donkey Kong, have a series of screens, each with its own individual pattern of challenges. As companies began to develop platform games for home consoles and computers, they took advantage of the evolving processors and the greater memory capacity by transcending individual screens and utilizing actively side-scrolling worlds. Examples of 2D screen-based platform franchise includes Bubble Bobble, Burger Time, Donkey Kong, Mario Bros, and Space Panic. Examples of 2D scrolling platform includes Donkey Kong Country, Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario Bros, Pac-Man, Crash Bandicoot, and the aforementioned Super Mario 64. Role-playing games. Evolving from pen and paper games like Dungeons and Dragons, RPGs are a special type of adventure games that usually incorporate three major elements. First, a specific quest. Second, a process for involving a character through experience to improve his abilities. Third, the careful acquisition and management of inventory for items for the quest. Having said that, the games still have many variations and appearances. Puzzles. In many ways, puzzle video games are not dissimilar from traditional puzzles. What they offer are unique environments that are not as easily introduced in one's living room. For example, wet tricks enable the players to build up a series of walls that would be able to contain a deluge of water when it falls. Successful completion of level involves capturing enough water. Another examples includes Tetris, Puzzle Bobble, Puyo Puyo, Devil Dice, and Mercury. Simulation. By their nature, simulations are attempts to accurate, recreate an experience. These can be in the form of management situations like SimCity and Theme Hospitals, or more hands-on like Microsoft Flight Simulator or Gran Turismo. Strategic tactics. Like simulation, these attempt to create a sense of realism for the game player to experience. However, these titles are more often turn-based as opposed to real-time, and they give the player a greater sense of specific control over a situation. For example, Final Fantasy Tactics and Worms. Sports. As you can imagine, sports games are those that simulate the playing of sports. Many sports games include management elements beyond the games themselves. There is quite a bit of variety in this genre for the fans of the games, the players, and the behind-the-scenes responsibilities of owning a team. Fighting. These titles pit player against player and involve one triumphing over the other. Many of these games include a single-player mode, but the real draw to this genre is the ability to demonstrate one's gaming prowess against a friend. Example of franchise in this game includes Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Dead or Alive, etc. Survival horror. As the name suggests, these titles are interactive evolutionary step of the horror genre. The main game mechanics in these is to survive the environment that includes fantastic or supernatural elements that are very frightening and often disturbing. Many of these titles are rated mature because of they are not intended for younger audience and often include graphic scenes. Horror. Horror genre is the genre in which it uses evil, supernatural, or any kind of person to scare the people. Examples includes Outcast, etc. Hybrids. It is most important to recognize that many games are not limited to a single genre. Some are the combination of two or more game types. In fact, as gaming evolves, we see lines blurred between genres more frequently than not. Since the introduction of 3D gaming, the action-adventure genre has grown dramatically. It is practically a catch-all category that incorporated 3D games within real-time combat and puzzle solving in a fairly cohesive storyline. Many of these games are also first-person shooter. Some are 3D platform titles, and most survival horror titles qualify as action-adventure games too. Another example of a hybrid game is Myst. It's both of an adventure game and a puzzle game. However, it is not most certainly an action-adventure game. So guys, this was the video about the various video game genres. If you think I have missed any genre or you have any particular genre to love, comment that in the comment section and I'll surely be checking out. Let's keep a poll. The genre with the most likes or comments will be the winner, and I'll be declaring it in most upcoming videos. So thanks for the video, give your thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See ya and play hard.